And we're live right now. I'm just clear because in this video, I'm going to be talking about a lot of very wacky and bizarre off-the-wall concepts, which I think the gold jacket suits. I was actually wearing this out tonight. And one of the things that I want to explain to you is why, for women, this dumb gold jacket is worth a lot more than, say, a diamond bracelet or a Rolex watch. Or something like, say, this pearl necklace is actually more valuable than a diamond chain. And I'm going to explain to you also why being an idiot, being a complete moron, is actually more powerful than being what most people these days would call a high-value guy. And the reason I want to go into this is because I'm getting out of dating. I'm wrapping that up. And I've been wrapping that up for a long time, in case you haven't noticed. Almost every dating video that I've even posted this year is not on the channel anymore. I'll probably delete this one in a couple days. I'm wrapping up. I'm moving on. I'm shooting a couple last videos on this so that if people want to download it and kind of have it for posterity's sake, you can. But what I'm going to be releasing in these videos are some of the most hardcore, what to me are the truths that most people just can't stomach. These are things that are controversial. Most people can't stomach it. I'm frankly sick of arguing for it because all that happens is that you wind up arguing with a bunch of fucking idiots who have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. And it's one of those things where unless you're actually going to come out with me and see it, you're not going to believe it. So I don't really get any benefit from talking about this at all. But I'm just putting this out for the couple people that really want to hear my genuine opinion. But this is not the hill that I want to die on. And it's one of those things where I'm going to just release this to you. If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, I wish you the best of luck. But what I'm going to basically explain to you in this video is that the things that men think women like are not necessarily the things that women actually respond to. And the whole concept of a high-value guy, which you're seeing discussed all over the podcast circuit, you're seeing it in Instagram Reels, TikTok, this high-value guy thing is completely and utterly skewed. These people do not go out, they barely know what they're talking about, or maybe at best, it might apply to things like online dating, where maybe you have like a high-value online dating profile, but it doesn't really correlate to what it means when you actually go out and hit the field. It's completely and utterly different. So here's the question, the secret. Why is a relatively cheap golden jacket better for going out than, say, a diamond bracelet? Why is this diamond necklace not as good as this stupid $90 thing of so-called pearls, okay? We're going to be covering that in this today and helping you to understand. Now, by the way, if you like this, okay, if you do happen to be one of the people who resonates with this, and you really, really resonate with old school game, and you were somebody who really, really enjoyed the hot seat back in the day, but you're frustrated that I hadn't put out my latest infield, all my latest infield is right in here, owenslastgameprogram.com, as well as my latest understandings of how the game has changed in 2023, 2024, and beyond. That will be by far the last program that you see me putting out. Even the videos that I put out for it so far are gone. We're wrapping it up. It's being pulled. So if you want to get inside Owen's Last Game program and you want to check out the latest infield, and you're somebody who likes the hot seat format and you want the latest, get inside there as well as my latest insights. This video is going to be nasty. This video is going to be insane. This video is going to be off the wall. I'm not going to filter here. And this video also won't be around for very long. Okay? So enjoy it while it is here. Okay? And get inside that program right now. By the way, where are you going for Vegas New Year's? Or for New Year's, rather. I'm going to Vegas. I'm actually going to be teaching in Vegas on New Year's. And that's going to be www.selfhelpfreetour.com. Actually, if you want to do an infield trading, shoot me a DM on Instagram, and I'll hit you back. But www.selfhelpfreetour.com, Vegas, Phoenix, San Diego, San Francisco, Orlando, and Miami are the free programs for this year. I'm starting a podcast pretty soon, and I won't be doing a lot more free tours. It's going to be wrapping up. So if you want to get out to a free event, Vegas, Phoenix, San Diego, San Francisco, Self-Help Free Tour. And if you want to get the latest infield, boom, right in there inside Owen's Last Game program, okay? So we're going to be going crazy, crazy, crazy today. Okay, so what is the problem with this whole high-value guy thing? And usually high-value guys correlated around money, status, and getting jacked. These are the general things that we call a high-value guy. That's my general understanding of it. The problem with it at its core is it's just all compensation. It's 100% viewed that you're compensating. So when you go make a bunch of money, all that it looks like, in my view, to a woman is, why did you need all that? Why did you need to make all that money? Even when you go get super duper jacked, in my view, most women are thinking, why do you need to get super duper jacked? Now, if you don't agree with what I'm going to say here, I'm going to show you exactly what to do instead. Step by step, non-ambiguous, I'm going to show you exactly what to do. And what I'd say to you is I'm going to ask you for 3 days of your time. 3 days to go out and test what it is that I'm going to show you here. And if you test it for 3 days and then you still think it's something else, let me know in the comments. But go and test this fresh off of hearing this for 3 days and watch how your results skyrocket. I mean, you will see results like you never even imagined possible. So I'm going to give you a lot of meta frames at a basic level understanding, and then I'm going to show you exactly how to implement it, okay? And you are going to smash it on a level that you never understood. You're going to get outsized results from this, because this is me being brutally, brutally blunt. And because I have no filter at all here, you are going to get the most insane results you ever imagined. Okay, so here's how I want to put it to you. I'm going to give you an alternate understanding of value that may or may not be scientifically accurate. I don't know. But what I do know is that when you understand it this way and when you take on this belief system, your results will change. So whether this is true or not, I don't know. And I'm not here to be a evolutionary psychologist or evolutionary scientist or a psychologist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not an evolutionary scientist. But I'm just going to get you to imagine these evolutionary ideas and then implement them and then watch your results shoot up. Okay, so here's what it is. So the way that you probably think of a high value guy is, you know, you're really like maybe you make $100,000 a year, and this year you doubled your income. You got to $200,000. And then what you did was you got a membership at 24 Hour Fitness, and you went to GNC and you got a protein shake and you got some creatine, and then you got up your bench from 175 to 225, or maybe you even got it to 300, and now you're ready to be the high value guy. Or maybe you even kept going, and wow, you made $1 million in a year, and plus, instead of having a 4-pack on your stomach, you got to a 6-pack. Ha ha ha, you're ready to be a high value guy. It's going to make a really big difference when you go out. Just notice how when you go out, how they immediately can tell. And every night you're just running off on some new adventure with someone new because it just works, right? Wrong. Wrong. 100%. In my view, the stereotype of all these guys that you see reading like Muscle and Fitness, and they're getting their, you know, their, back in the day it was like Muscle Tech supplement, and you know, they're drinking their protein powder, and they're going to 24 Hour Fitness to get their bench up. These guys are, in most cases, if you love it, you love it. Do it. I've explained this in the other video. Do it because you love it. Do it because it's for you. But most of these guys, I run out to the club and you see them out there crossing their arms, try to flex their biceps, mean mugging, and you go in there and you go do all the things that they thought were going to happen when they got jacked, and they watch you when you're not in shape. They watch you go and do that, and then they get angry and they're steaming mad. Or you go out and they actually wind up bringing a girl, and without you even knowing it, you wind up leaving with their girl. And this will happen again and again and again and again. And they will be infuriated because maybe they came with 2 girls and you wind up leaving with both of them. And they just wind up continually saying, I thought if I got jacked, I thought if I took my GNC protein powder, I thought that if I made that extra 100K, and they're thinking this is going to make a difference. And these guys are getting steamrolled viciously and brutally, and they have no idea why it is. Now, does that mean that if you make more money or got jacked, that you couldn't get amazing results? Of course you can get amazing results, but not if you were doing it to get women. Women can feel and sniff out any form of you not feeling like you're enough, any form of compensation at all whatsoever. So what you've got to be doing is you've got to be doing a very, very deep dive and a foray into what compensation means, what it is that you are doing for to compensate, and then going from there. Now, let me tell you another thing. I know here in LA, the guys who have the best results with dating, and I can tell you that their results are outsized. So these would typically be guys that have 30 girlfriends at once, go home with somebody different every night, and it's pretty much across the board famous pop stars, models, creme de la creme, Instagram models, best girls in the club, and there's one commonality that these guys all have. And you want to know what it is? They're all fucking idiots. Straight up, they're fucking morons. And these are guys that I personally struggle to have conversations with. You can't even get these guys to talk to you. I can't even imitate them. These guys are my superiors. I cannot compete with these guys because I like to form sentences. I like to make money. I care about things like my health. I actually like using my brain. So as a result, I cannot be quite as big of an idiot as these guys, and these are the guys that just smash it. I promise you, anybody that you're watching online who's bragging about their results or whatever, these are dudes that smoke these guys. These are guys that put these guys to fucking school, smoke them, destroy them. There's no competition, and these are many of the guys that I've managed. I have a hard time being friends with them, but usually what I'll do is I'll make friends with their friends. Like, usually they'll have some friend that they can, maybe they've known them since they're younger or whatever, and I'll make friends with that guy because I can't even talk to these guys. These guys are so fucking stupid that they don't form sentences. They're like, I'm going to try to imitate them, but I can't. They're kind of just like, yeah, haha, what, huh, no, what, oh, yeah, and then like they have all these like fucking words like I'm just making this up at this point. It's like slice, like they don't even say that, but I'm just like making this. They're like, yeah, like cantaloupe, like they're fucking morons, and all they do all day is have sex. They're flat broke. They're not. None of them are in shape, but a lot of them have tattoos, and basically all they do is they just have sex all day. That is what they do. Sex, sex, sex. They don't make sentences. They don't make any sense. Most of these guys, the ones that I know that crush it the most are like 5'7", 5'8". I think one of them is 5'6". Fucking idiots. And basically what they do is two things. They're idiots who don't make sense, but here's the other one, okay? They pump their state while collapsing the criteria to have value. Okay, they pump their state while collapsing the criteria to have value. So here's the difference between them and you. You believe that you have to build a value for yourself to get in the zone. You believe that if you bench press an extra 50 pounds, that you'd be invited to some bench press club. Or you believe that if you made an extra 100K, then you'd get in state. Then you'd start having fun. Then you'd find self-love. What I've generally seen is these guys that are the absolute outliers are too dumb to realize that they're inferior. They're just too dumb. And so as a result of that, as a result of them being too dumb, they don't know that they're like a 6 out of 10 on a good day. They're unaware of this. They think that they are the shit. They're completely narcissistic, absolutely in love with themselves, and they state pump all day. They laugh and dance and state pump all day. They've got psychotic amounts of swagger, swag up to wazoo, swag, 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 total losers. But the thing is, they can't be successful because they think too highly of themselves, and so they have no motivation to be successful. So many of these guys, by age 40, are completely and utterly fucked. I mean, you do not want to be these guys. Like, I could go down that rabbit hole fully if I wanted to. I know these guys. I can kick it with them. I have friends of friends with them, things like that. I can go down that rabbit hole, but I don't want to. Women and sex is certainly not everything. You should not base your life on women and sex. And I think like the biggest scam in all the pickup stuff is the mere fact that it works too well, and the problem is it winds up working so well that you don't feel motivated to go make money. That's the problem with pickup, is that you wind up getting such insane results that you feel like you're in a daze, you don't want to make money, you don't really care about going to the gym, and you get put in this sort of weird, it's like a fly caught in a honey trap, and the fly like kind of wants to fly away and fly around, but it's just like sucking the honey, like, it's like sucking on the honey, and then just years go by of nonstop sex, and then you realize that you're broke, you realize that you're unhealthy, and you basically realize that you ruined your life being a degenerate. Like, do you realize that in general, sex is viewed as, to some extent, degenerate behavior? So it's not one of these things where you need to become this like ultimate high-value man in order to have sex. That's ludicrous. That's absolutely ridiculous, because the problem with becoming a high-value man is that you are separating yourself from your value. You're creating a gap between you and your value. So as a result of that, or there's actually a bunch of different problems with it. One is that you're creating a gap between you and your value. The other one is also that you are, people will adapt and mold to you, and they'll put on a mask based on what you put on. So if you're like, I'm a high value guy, then they're likely to say, well, I'm a high value girl. And what's the best way for a girl to be high value? Not to have sex with you. So right off the bat, this whole idea of you being a high value guy is, in many cases, will elicit a mirroring where they want to be this sophisticated high value girl, and the best way to do that is not to hook up with you, and then to go hook up with one of those guys, just, on their off time, in effect. Like when they go home from your house and they give you a peck on the cheek, then they go to that guy's house. So once you get this stuff, what you'll realize is that this high value guy thing that most guys are doing is separating them from their value. It's separating them from getting in the zone. It's creating too many criteria to allow themselves to get in state. And it is causing the girl to put on a mask as like, oh, well, I'm a high value, sophisticated girl, and therefore I'm not going to have sex with you. So here would be a better way to think about it, in my view. And again, I don't even know if this is real, but this is just how I think of it. Imagine if your role in the tribe was that basically you're the person who provides the gene, the raw material of genes, okay? In other words, you know what, okay? So you're the provider, okay? So basically, you're the provider of genes. And so imagine that because that's your role, all the other men go out and hunt, and they give you food, and they give you a house to stay in, and they give you everything, and all that you do all day is just have fun, and then just make sure that you're mating actively and providing offspring for the tribe. So imagine that you are not stressed out from all these hours of entrepreneurship, and you never had to go make your own money or produce your own food or produce anything. All that you did all day was just have this giant party and mate. And everybody else does the stress, and you don't even know what stress is. You don't know what stress is. You've never heard of stress. You're not even aware of it. Because, by the way, one of these guys I know that has the most girls in all of LA, this guy is basically just sleeps on people's couches. Like, he's known to sleep on couches. Now, as he's come up in the ranks, he'll sleep on the couch of Logan Paul and Jake Paul. But he was already killing it prior to sleeping on their couches. So this is a guy where, it's like he lives it. Like, this guy has access to giant yachts. This guy has access to mansions. This guy has access to all the finer things in life. Now, he's been getting laid since way before he had those things, but now that he's in the kind of like the peak of his powers, which is now, he has access to these things, but he pays for none of it. He's flat broke. So in other words, he's sleeping on the couch of the yacht, the couch of the mansion. He's borrowing the car, because what it looks like is he's the sex provider, and then basically all these like beta males just give him stuff. They just let him have stuff. Now, how do I know this? Because I live in a fat crib, and if I say this is my crib, my results will be less than if I say that it's a buddy's crib and I'm just crashing here. So I want to look like I'm some loser degenerate crashing at my rich friend's house because I'm given the free resources. It's all free for me. There's no question on the table about whether or not I'm going to be a provider. The only thing that I'm there for is to have fun, okay? Now, that is a basic underlying way of thinking about it. Is this biologically correct? Probably not. I don't know. I wasn't around when the cavemen were here, as big as my beard is. I don't know. But what I would tell you is, again, this here diamond is for men. You want to attract male business connections? Wear diamond. You want to get male business connections? Wear a watch. You want to attract women? Wear an idiot gold jacket. You want to attract women? My friend Rowan's idiot pearls. Okay? Idiot, idiot. Men. Okay, I know that you have a fantasy. You're like, I'm gonna go get. There's memes of this even. See if you can find the meme where it's like these guys get jacked, and it's like what they think they're gonna get. It's like what guys think they'll get when they get jacked versus like what actually happens. And the joke of it is like you get jacked, and all these men come up to you. They're like, bro, like nice pecs, bro. But women don't care. There's actual like memes like what guys think Jim will get them. With Jim, type in Jim. Just type the word Jim. Just type the word Jim. Get Jim, and then Jim. Yeah. M, and then enter. Yeah. Type that in. You'll see. Yeah. Yeah. To the right. No, you had it. Yeah. Yeah. Right there. Click on that. Can they see it? And there's a whole bunch of different memes like this. Like that there is, and you could say the same thing for like a fat crib. You could say the same things for a sick watch. You could say the same thing for the Lambo. You want to attract men, get a Lambo. You want to attract men, get a watch. You want to attract men, get jacked. You want to attract women, be a fucking moron. And again, you don't believe this? You believe in the high value guy thing that you've seen on the podcast? Look, I'm not here to die on this hill. I'm deleting this. I have no dog in this fight. I'm deleting the video. I don't want to argue about it because nobody, look, let's be honest, nobody goes out anymore. People are too afraid to go out. They're too afraid to try it. They're not going to really field test it. You know, I used to like the community back in the day. You want to know why? Because you could post infield, so you could show it. That's why I liked it. But then there was no oxygen for this nonsense. But in addition to that, I liked it because you couldn't give your opinion unless you field tested it. You had to field test it. Then it would work, okay? Now, let me give you a little bit, okay? And like, look, again, like G. Kang says, not true, brother. Girls like guys that are in great shape. But again, go field test what I'm showing you. Do the exact, if you're late on this video, go and actually try what I'm showing you. So take the assumptions that I've given you so far in the video, rewind it later if you're live right now, and then in addition, I'm going to give you more understanding here. Go and test it. Don't take what I'm saying for granted. Don't believe me out of hand. Don't be an armchair theorist. Go give me 3 days where you test this, okay? Do exactly what I'm going to show you for 3 days and watch your results. Go, and by the way, and then everybody goes, Owen's saying that you shouldn't go to the gym and shouldn't make money, even though I've been building business for years and actually really enjoy lifting weights. But you know what? Do it for you. That's all that I'm saying is don't just think that if you get rich and lift weights that you can walk up to a girl at a club and stand there and that she's going to just crawl all over you. Realize that there's other things going on. There's frames, there's self-entertainment, there's belief systems, there's energy exchange, there's all sorts of stuff happening. So if you think that you're going to escape all that and that you're just going to go lift weights and get rich and it's going to solve it for you, maybe it will get you more responses online. I've never even done an online date in my whole life. Probably would, to be honest with you, probably a lot. But I want you to try this going out and meeting people in the real world, okay? So go test this and then tell me what you think. All right, so let's keep going. Okay, so test this stuff. Now, here's the best way that I want you to think about this. I want you to imagine, again, probably all wrong. I'm not a scientist. I just want you to imagine it like this. Imagine that men are the people who build the reality. Okay, so men build the reality. And then women are the ones who kind of live in that reality better than we have the capacity to. Now, when I say this, I want you to really, like, rather than looking at women, and again, I'm not trying to be like a white knight, but rather than looking at women as objects, try for a minute looking at them as human beings. And again, I'm not trying to be a white knight, but really think about this. Look at a woman deeply into her humanity, okay? Notice that she is 100x to 1,000x more present to the moment and in the flow than you are. Notice how much more she enjoys going out than you do. Notice how dry and just what a fucking uptight fucking loser you look like compared to how much fun she's having. Now, that doesn't mean to begin acting like a woman. You should be grounded. But what it means is that she is more in the flow than you are. So as an example, I was out with my friend Callie James the other night, and Callie's with me, and we were at this club, right? And I'm talking to a business connection, and Callie's looking at me, and she's like, she's just getting so fucking bored, right? Because I'm talking all this heavy business stuff. And she's like, why are you being so fucking stupid today? And I'm like, Callie, like, we're talking business here. Like, this conversation could be worth a couple $100,000. And she's like, fuck this shit. Fuck this shit. This is fucking boring. Like, why are you guys being so fucking stupid? I'm like, Callie. I'm like, this is important. It's business. She's like, this is fucking stupid. This is fucking stupid. Because we were at like a pretty cool club. And I'm like, all right, Callie, what should we do then? And she goes, I don't know, like, dance, right? And what she's really communicating is she's like, I thought that you were the guy who just has fun while all the other people have to make money and they just give you the money and then you just spread the gene. Like, why are you being one of those like beta guys that has to like make the money? Like, I don't care that you're going to make $100,000 from one conversation. Other guys are supposed to give that to you. You're not supposed to be the one making the money. You're supposed to be the one having fun, just hooking up. Like, what's wrong with you? And you could just see that that's literally where she's at. Well, why is that? Because she wants to experience the beautiful reality of the club. She is able to experience that reality of the club better than I can. She experiences it better than I can, okay? So what she's really trying to do for me is she's trying to give me a gift. And the gift that she's trying to give me is to stop being some uptight piece of shit who all that I care about is getting to the future and having very, very heavy energy. And she's trying to say, Owen, relax, have fun. Just do this kind of like funny thing, do this fun thing. Now, by the way, there's a comment here. He said, bro, no offense to your friend, but she probably doesn't know any of that stuff. So it's easy to say this is boring, but be a little honest here. No, it's not, bro. Again, I could totally see where you're saying that. That's why I answered. Don't view the girl, not to say that you're doing this, but don't view the girl as an object. Look deeply into her humanity. Understand this about women. We build the reality. They teach us how to live in it. Okay, so I talked about that movie called The Fountain, where this guy's trying to save his wife's life, but she knows she's gonna die, and she just wants to go play in the snow, and he won't go play in the snow with her, and he's all stressed out. Watch the movie The Fountain. It has all the keys that you need to understand this, okay? She wants to bring her man into joy. She wants to bring him into presence. She wants to bring him into a vibe, but all that he wants to do is just think how to build the future. The girls get sick of it. They're like, look, I don't want to hear about your fucking future. I want to have fun right now. So for example, my friend Casey Zander, he had a video about this. He makes great content. He said, women will have Christmas plates and regular plates, right? As men, are we gonna have I've got the Christmas plates. Look, I've got the regular plates, right? Men build the house. Women make the house a home. It's a beautiful thing that men and women share with each other. It's a beautiful, we're equal, men and women are equal, but we are different and we're complementary and we're synergistic. Men might build a home, and women can build a home too. I'm not saying they can't, but traditionally, men build a home, men build a house, women make it a home. Traditionally, not, this day and age, everyone's doing everything, right? The gender roles are all over the place now. But, traditionally, in a traditional sense, men maybe build the club, but women show us how to enjoy the club, right? Let's be honest, right? As men, if it weren't for women, we would probably be wearing garbage bags. The house would be concrete. We would probably never joke around. We would never dance. We'd never sing. We'd never be in state. All that we would do is just be these boring Mr. Spocks, like from Star Trek. So women allow us to enter into that zone. That's a beautiful gift that women give. And I want you to imagine that rather than you being like this big high value man who's working and building all the time and trying to get the next washboard ab and trying to get the next million, instead you're the person in the village who provides the genes for the next generation. So your job is to party with the girls. Your job is to have fun with the girls. Your job is to provide the genetic material for the girls, all the girls. Imagine it as a thought experiment. That's what you're doing, always with consent, always done in a consensual manner, always done in a way that is win-win, always done in a way that adds value to somebody. So understand that, right? It's not your entitlement. But imagine that you're just somebody who's just having fun, partying, okay? Let me give you a simple example of when I first began to realize this. So I remember it was actually way back in the day, it was the mother of my kids. And I remember we were at Nando's Chicken over in London, England. Okay, I love Nando's. And I remember I'm sitting there as a multimillionaire, and this Spanish guy is talking to the mom of my kids, and he says to her, and he starts flirting with her. And the mom of my kids, I can tell, is kind of pumping her state a little bit, and I really don't care at all. It's some poor bastard from Nando's. He's got his little red pointy hat on, and I'm not threatened at all by this because I'm a high value man, and he just works at Nando's, and so. So she says to him finally, she's like, well, what are you doing here in the UK? Because he's from Spain. She's like, what are you doing here? And my heart sank for the guy. I literally viewed him as so utterly low value and pathetic that I liked it that he was actually getting his little ray of sun. But what I realized is this man is very dangerous as far as his flirting skills. And he looks at her, he goes, what am I? And he slows down, a lot more slow than I tend to be. He's Mr. High Value Builder. I made $100 million in sales, as if they care at all. And he just slows down, Mr. Nando's. He goes, what am I doing out here in the UK? Working, drinking, living my life. And all that you see is there might as well be a tsunami of wetness that just took over Nando's. okay? You could see, like, her jaw dropped in total attraction. And I'm like, the Nando's guy? You know, this is what I was like first learning a lot about like how attraction works. I'm like, even the Nando's guy can pump state? This is crazy. He's a low value guy, the Nando's guy. No, this guy in that moment dominated me. And the reason why he dominated me is, what do I look like in that moment? I look like this uptight, insecure, always needing to work, can't be happy with what I have, business guy who then out of insecurity says, I'm a millionaire and that's good enough to compensate that I don't love myself. So now I can love myself and I just work around the clock because I don't love myself. You know what he looked like? Here's what he looked like. He looked like this guy who, while I'm, running in circles, ripping my remaining hair out, loaded with cortisol, stressed out from work, thinking that I'm going to finally be a high value man for my business. This guy's just sitting on the beach. And I don't drink and I don't allow her to drink. So it's like he's just sitting on the beach and he'll drink with her and he'll be playing his guitar and 4 or 5 hours will pass of laughter and fun. And then they'll hook up under the stars and it's going to be the best and it's going to be so much fun. Look, what do you think is a better place to go back to? My big mansion or Jeff, who has this giant van with a bed in the back? The bed in the back it's got a disco ball. Have you ever seen Jeff's van? It's got a disco ball in it. He's got music in it. It's fun. It's crazy. I remember the couple times Jeff has lent me that van. It's ridiculous, just ridiculous how quickly and amazing things happen, okay? Another one, for example, Jeff gave me this guitar, and he calls it a booze guitar, and I'd actually just put water in it, but literally I ran around Dolores Park with this thing called a booze guitar, and it's like a pink plastic guitar that you could take a sip out of, and I'm like, it's a booze guitar. What do you think is better, a $20,000 watch or a $7 fake, in my case, because we use water, booze guitar? What's more fun? Having a picnic out in Dolores Park, you got your guitar, you're having fun, you're setting a vibe, maybe later you go do a campfire, everybody's laughing. What do you think is going to result in more dating success? This idea that you're going to be this high value man and that somehow that's going to outperform this is so utterly laughable. And the problem is it makes guys mad. I mean, when guys hear this, they get fucking pissed. I mean, I can, occasionally like have my moments since I work so hard. So guys get fucking pissed when they hear this shit because they're working, lifting, working, thinking that the big moment's gonna come. And look, again, I don't do online dating. I would suspect that, the Lambo and the six pack and all that online, I'm sure it's gotta be helping. I'm sure it's great. I don't really know. You have to understand that for me with going out, I've done that so many years, I don't really have an incentive to do an online date, so I've never done one. I've never thought that somebody who looks like me would probably would meet the kind of people that I want to meet online. Maybe I could. That could be a limiting belief, could be a total limiting belief, but it's not something I've ever tried. But also, I love meeting people in person. So what I want you to imagine is, imagine that women or men, and again, gender roles have changed. Men can do what women do, women can do what men do, things have changed. But imagine that traditionally, men build the society, but women show us how to live in it. Men, build a house, but women make it a home. And imagine how utterly lame it looks to women. All these heavy energy guys that are so stressed and that go up to the woman and all they're trying to do is just get something because they have an agenda. So what I want you to do instead is I want you to, when you're talking to the girl, and here's the experiment that I have for you, okay? This is gonna be a crazy experiment that you gotta try. And I don't want you to believe anything that I'm saying out of hand. Believe nothing at all. Believe nothing that I'm saying out of hand. I demand that you go try this, right? I demand it. Okay, and by the way, Simply Bone, the mansion's better than the van, even though I live in the mansion and I have access to Jeff's van. And I'm telling you, the van is 100x the result of the mansion. But that's okay that you have an opinion, because you're allowed to have an opinion. You're allowed to have an opinion for something you never tested. That makes you dumb, but you're allowed to have an opinion, okay? So don't have an opinion for things you never tried. Go test what I'm gonna show you, okay? So here's how I want you to imagine it. When you're talking to a girl, when you go out tonight, and you go do this shit fucking tonight, okay? Tonight, when you're talking to her, let go of all agenda. Let it go. And as you're speaking to her, now this won't create attraction the first girl you talk to, but this will build over the night, and you'll get a lot of attraction later. The first one of the night, it's not going to help. It might help, but don't count it helping. Allow the girl and her present energy and her vibe to infuse you with real presence and joy. Let her give you that gift. Allow the woman to give the gift of her energy and presence to you. And allow yourself to get high off of it. Allow yourself to really see that woman. Allow yourself to really see this woman. And look deeply at her. Don't objectify her. Again, I'm not being a white knight. I'm showing you some like real hardcore skill here. Don't objectify her. See her deeply as a human being who, as a human, is the same as you in many ways, but also is different from you. Look at her in her deepest feminine and realize that you can never access the present moment in a way that she can. From the jump, she'll help you to, by the way, and you'll go past her if you're smart about it. But from the jump, you will not access the present moment the way she does. She's attuned to energies and vibes and flow states that you are not. And she wants to give you the gift of that and infuse you into that. And allow her to talk and just take it in. And allow yourself to be transported to really be in the club. To be there. Not to be this wandering automaton trying to get something, but be there with her and take it on. Then wrap up the conversation and talk to another girl. And this can play out in different ways. You don't have to necessarily do it that way. Maybe you and her run off an adventure right then and there. I'm not saying that can't happen. But in many cases, you would wrap the conversation and talk to somebody else and just allow them to get you out of your fucking head, okay? So, when I'm sitting here and, I wake up in the fucking morning and, I do my morning routine and now I've got like 50 fucking messages, things blowing up metaphorically, problems happening, people that need things from me, all that I'm well compensated for. I'm grateful for it, but it's just a lot, I'm grateful for it. It's a quality problem to have. I wouldn't want to not have that problem, but just a lot, and you just deal with so much shit, so much just this endless trough of shit that you deal with every day in your business or your work. And you just think, I'm building something. I'm becoming a high-value man. And allow yourself to let that just dissolve. Just let it dissolve. And allow the woman to help you that you're talking to. It's the first woman you talk to tonight, just to help you. So allow her to lead initially. Now, as a man, you have to lead to get attraction. That's why you often don't get attraction doing this. But allow her to lead for a minute, to help you, to heal your fucking soul, okay? So that you're not another one of these heavy energy, heavy logic, agenda-ridden automaton. And notice how the club is just sort of opening up to you. The club's opening up to you. You're actually enjoying the music. You care about the vibe. This is like kind of fun. This is like really, really fun. Like, this is not a chore. This is awesome. And then you talk to another girl. And then some girls are nicer than others. Some girls are not that talkative. But you'll quickly find one who's talkative. And, just keep chatting until you find someone who's talkative. And allow her to lead you out of this fucking stress. This fucking stress of being this high-value man. I gotta be a high-value man. Okay? Let her lead you out of it. And you start feeling good. And here's what you'll realize. You will feel better and better and better, and you will be fucking high. And then you know what you're going to realize? I kind of in some ways get more of a high out of this than I would having sex. God forbid that women have something to offer you more so than sex itself. By the way, my last girlfriend, my last major relationship, my last very significant relationship, what I loved about her, when I knew I wanted to be in a couple with her, we didn't make it in the long run as a couple, but you know what I loved about her? I would be dating 5 or 10 different girls. And she was a friend of mine. We were actually friends first. And what I love about her energy, a lot of you guys know her. What I love about her energy was we would go out for dinner together, and I would just sit there chatting with her, and she was such a positive person, and so her feminine energy was so intoxicating that I would actually have more fun hanging out with her. And I would have girls, she would drop me off and we wouldn't have sex. We were genuinely friends. So the side point of that is that when you live in LA, you need kind of to have your own private army of female friends if you want to get into better clubs. So she was kind of part of my private army of female friends, of women that I have genuine friendships with. But I found her energy to be very enlivening. And we would just sit there at dinner, and I felt like a champion talking to her. I felt like I was just winning at the game of life talking to her, you know? And so I knew her for quite a long time before we ever dated. And it's one of those things where when you have female friends, they're comfortable around you and they've seen you dating other people. Then over time, they can get curious and things could take a turn in another direction. But I really enjoyed that component of just being around her. And so, when you can be around a woman who makes you get high by just talking to her, and you allow that to infuse you energetically, what winds up happening is then when you talk to other women, you're so much in the zone that they get attracted to that. And here's the reason why they get attracted to that, okay? They get attracted to it because, in my view, and I could be wrong about this, but I'm just going to tell you how I understand it. I'm probably wrong, but I'll tell you how I understand it. In my view, the message in the Bible about Adam and Eve is that as men, we want to be grounded, and ideally, we want to be connected to God. And so that's why we want to play the role of leadership. But for women, often, and this is just what I've experienced and how I've interpreted, it doesn't mean that I'm right. I'm probably wrong. I'm not a biologist, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a psychologist. But the way that I interpret it is that for them, God is like their state, their emotional state. And in saying this, we as men are able to, when they trust us, when a woman really trusts you and feels safe around you, and she can allow you to lead her, and this is just my personal beliefs, my subjective beliefs that I'm not trying to impose on you, even though I'd like to because I'm a human, but just my beliefs, I believe that we can help lead them away from viewing their state as God and to connecting to God. And a great man can do that. A great man, and Casey Zander talks about this too, a great man can lead a woman back to heaven. Okay? And so, so there's a power in the original Genesis story. And, in the book of Exodus where Moses goes to get the Ten Commandments, and then he comes back and he sees people worshiping the golden calf, which is idolatry. I believe that for some women, when they worship their state, that if you can help as a man, if you can get them to trust you, you lead them back to God. You lead them to heaven, is what I believe. Now, you don't need to believe that. I'm not putting that on you. That's a little bit abstract. But understand that if someone is in a state of existence where their state is their God, and then you allow, because while you shouldn't make state your God, state is also beautiful. I mean, not compared to God, but state is a very, very beautiful thing. And so when you can allow those beautiful feelings to go inside of yourself and to be infused by that, and then what you do is you do that with a few different women that you talk to, they bring you into the venue. They bring you out of your pain, out of your heaviness, out of your responsibility, out of your burden, your high value man quest. Okay, they bring you out of that. And they bring you into a state of relaxation and joy. But rather than being connected to state, you do so from a position of being grounded. So it's a little bit different, and it creates a male to female polarity. And then as you're grounded, but allowing yourself to drink of that state that they're helping to give you, they're getting you out of your head, you accumulate more and more and more of that state. And because state is their God, you have now become the source of state. And by a way of looking at it, metaphorically, you metaphorically become their God. And the key to it is not just being a dancing monkey and doling it out, but putting a boundary, saying, because as they're really enjoying it, at some point you might say, no. And that's where the grounding comes in, and it puts a boundary, and it sets a masculine to feminine style interaction, and it sets a boundary. And this is a very, very beautiful thing where as you have now allowed that state to go fully inside of yourself, because they view state as God, then you metaphorically in that moment become God. Metaphorically. Okay, you're not God, by the way. Anybody who thinks they're God is doomed. But metaphorically, you become God. Now, if you can't understand this and you say to yourself, okay, it's one of these things where if you're not able to see it, then like I said earlier, go test it. Go and test what it is that I'm saying to you. Don't say, this thing like the metaphorical God and the state. I get it. It's fucking weird. It's not a hill that I want to die on. Okay? So you remember the last couple videos I put out, which I've deleted all of them. This is kind of like going to be a sort of like a hidden video series where people are going to download these videos and then they're going to be kind of like I feel like these are videos that it's a bit of pearls before swine, if I'm being honest with you. And I only want this available to you if you're somebody who really had to go find this video. Okay? Because this is the kind of stuff, like there's certain kind of knowledge where when you just give it away, people are, it's too over their head and they're not able to process it. But if they have to climb to the top of the mountain a little bit, maybe the digital mountain in this case to find it, they're like, holy shit, bro. Like I found those old videos that you just like left up for like a day or two. And that was the fucking shit, bro. That was the shit. So this is what I'm saying to you is, I'm not looking to die on this hill. I'm not looking to convince you of fucking anything. I don't want my brand when I build my podcast that I go argue with a bunch of like dating creators that what they think is high value really isn't. I don't care because let's be real. Unless you can post infield, what I'm saying sounds weird. What they're saying sounds intuitively correct. So I'm going to win every argument. I enjoy the community when there's two things: when you could post in field, and when you couldn't give an opinion until you field tested it. I don't like being in the community when you can't post in field and can't do and don't demand field testing as a response, right? Because you're not supposed to give an opinion. In the community, the rule is you say, I went and tested, like I listened to you, Owen. I went and tested, and here's the results I got. And by the way, even if the results were bad, you could show me how you interpreted, how you executed, and then I could say, oh, wait, thank you for trying it. Tweak this and tweak that, and then you'll get the kind of results that I get. But you might have heard stories where I've talked about how you could like make out with 30 girls in a night. How do you think that kind of thing's fucking happening? You think it was because I made an extra $100,000? You think it's because I go up and I go, I've done 100 million in sales. You remember back when I used to cut the carbs and I'd be like 6 or 7% body fat? Like, you think that's how like Owen got down to 6% body fat and then he made out with 30 girls in the club? That's not how that's happening. I've done all that. I've been there, done that. If you don't get game, then it makes no sense to you. If you want to get game, by the way, go right now, www.owenslastgameprogram.com. If you enjoyed the hot seat and you want to see the latest infield, go and watch this. And see, again, www.owenslastgameprogram, click the link below. And you will learn, okay? You will see exactly how this works. But it's not about pandering women, but it's when you deeply see them and appreciate them for who they are. That's when things change. And I've always said that my greatest regret of I've had a lot of relationships, but my last real serious relationship was like my ex-girlfriend really made a house a home. I will always admit when I'm wrong. And this was something that I was very wrong. I remember like areas that I took her for granted. And she's moved out of their life. I've moved out of my life. And I'm not trying to reconnect. But I'm saying like, this is one thing I really regret. She really made a house a home. Like she would say things to me like, I've said this before. She'd say things to me like, she'd bring me like a hot chocolate. She'd be like, I made it with love. And I'm like, if you guys know how I think, I'm like, I'm like, you made it with love, huh? I'm like, pass the fucking hot chocolate. Like, do you need, like, why do you feel the need to throw that in that you made it with love? Or she'd put like little plants around the house or little crystals around the house, right? Like she wouldn't let the house get fucked up. You can tell when a house is all dudes. And having all dudes in a house is fun. It's like the show Entourage. You party, it's an adventure. There's advantages to being in a relationship. There's advantages to being single. But one of the cool things of being in a relationship, one of the cool parts of it is like, I really do believe that women bring, and I believe this, this is like some fucked up woo shit that I genuinely believe. I believe that women make a house a home. I believe that women have some magic fucking power and it's not really magic. There's a psychology behind it, but it's like a magic power that infuses the home with the vibration or whatever the fuck you want to call it of love. I think they do. I think she really did that. When her and I broke up, I could really sense, I was like, this house is a hospital now. I was like, whoa, like she's gone. You know, like you could feel it. It's like the love is gone. It was like an energy and it's fucking gone, you know? And then you're like, well, woohoo, I'm single. I got my crib back. I can have fun now. Someone comes over. You have a great time. But the house doesn't have that like weird love potion in it. Bring somebody else over. No love potion. You're hooking up. You have your freedom, but it's sterile like a hospital. It has a hospital energy to it. That's called the energy of men, right? And to some extent, it's not a total description of men, but you know my point, right? I'm just saying it jokingly. And so what happens is, you know, you can go hook up with whoever you want, but the love has been withdrawn. Now, by the way, there's beauty in everything. There's, you know, because again, you can go out to the club and you can meet 100 women and really, you know, see them for who they are as humans, and allow yourself to engage with them at an energetic level. But what I'm saying is, really, really, you know, like in a relationship, my major regret was, I didn't allow her to really, like, because I think I just associated it to, like, you know, you kind of get pulled into it, and then all these, I don't want to get into it, but just all this like problems happen from it. But the thing is like, a strong man shouldn't be afraid of that. And I think that, you know, I just thought it was bullshit, you know? But I really finally, it took me until age 40 something to see that, to really understand it, like to really deeply see women for the value they bring and for who they are. And I always felt that I did. I always was appreciative, but I felt that I had a deeper appreciation. I think that in the same way that like when you're a kid, you know, you think McDonald's is the best food. Maybe you get older, you think Pizza Hut's the best food. You get older, like, you know, you think like certain things are the best food. But as you get older, like, you really appreciate, you know, for some people, I don't drink wine, but for some people it could be a fine wine. Or for, you know, for me, it's like a kombucha, like laughably and quite hilariously, like I appreciate a fine kombucha. I literally can't purchase kombucha that's good enough for my taste. Ha ha ha. So I will make my own kombucha out of like silver needle tea, Gyokoru green tea. I'll go get raw honey, which is a little bit harder to brew it with. I put fruit directly, like stone ground fruit directly into the kombucha. Like I like a fine kombucha. You know, I like a beautiful Wagyu grass-fed steak. Like as you get older, you have you know, if I fed my kid Dylan a Wagyu grass-fed steak, he's going to pile it down. He's not going to notice the difference, right? But when you're older, your palate evolves. You have a finer taste. And I think as you get older, you can really develop your palate for really having a deep, deep, deep appreciation for women and what it is that they're able to bring. And there's many things women can bring, not just like the love potion vibe. There's many things women do, all, you know, societies change, women do all sorts of things that men have done, and it adds value. But I'm saying from a more traditional standpoint is that you can actually learn to really appreciate what it is that women are bringing. And when you let that into yourself, and then you start becoming playful, and you start getting into state, and you start having fun, and you're not trying to be this high value guy because you're taking the frame of, I'm the guy who like spreads the genes in the tribe. The other men will bring me everything that I need. I'm spreading the genes in the tribe, right? Like if you look at Dan Bilzerian, it kind of looks like that, right? Dan Bilzerian's he's in a private jet, he's in a yacht, he's in a mansion, but you never show him, it never shows him working. The turn on isn't seeing him working. Dan Bilzerian basically looks like someone gave him a bunch of cash. So that's kind of the frame that it looks like, right? It's like, I have everything that I need. It's given to me. I'm here to spread the genes, right? Like you want to view it like that's the high value guy. Basically that you are so drunk on feminine vibes. You're so drunk on feminine vibes, but you're grounded as a man. You're grounded as a man, which creates the polarity. And you're just so drunk on it, and then everything's for fun. And here's a major distinction that you might find valuable too. I want you to imagine, like, say that you go to Kiss, always with the consent, of course, but say you go to Kiss, and let's say that you're doing it to pick the girl up. She will intuitively feel that, and in 99% of cases not be vibing it, right? She's not feeling it. But when you do it, when you go to do the kiss, always the consent, and you're doing it to genuinely raise the vibe. Like it wouldn't raise the vibe of your ego taking what it wants, but it would raise the vibe. It's like a celebration of life, a celebration of the evening, having fun. Maybe you're on a beach, with a bonfire, listening to music, dancing around, and the vibe is just going up and up and up. And the next natural progression to raise the vibe would be to kiss or to hook up. Well, then it just happens. As opposed to like, you're learning game. And, not to say that you shouldn't do that. I mean, look, we're all learning, right? But, it's like, but I'm just trying to show the right way and the wrong way. So it's like you should just go out and get out there and do your best at whatever you have. So I'm trying to mock you, but just compare it to like, you're learning game. And like, now you're going to get a girl to kiss so you can tell your friends, right? And I think the women feel this and they're like, this is some bullshit. Like, this is like some whack shit. Like, look, imagine how dumb men look to women when they're really living in that moment. Imagine how dumb guys look. Like they just don't get it. They don't get it. So what winds up happening is you're kind of just, talking with the girl and the vibe and either you've been kind of like absorbing and taking it and really seeing the women there and taking in the vibe of it, but you're grounded. So it's a complementary vibe and it has polarity to it. So, because the women are kind of more like being infused from the outside, but then they're fully taking that in as moving them. Whereas you're being infused with it, regrounding and being reminded of your presence in that environment, but as a man, then moving the energy out. So that's where the polarity comes, right? It can't just be like they're absorbing, you're absorbing. That's more like their gay friend. So it's more like, you take it in, it re-reminds you of your grounding, it re-reminds you of the beauty of the environment, re-reminds you of the vibe, and you really, really, really take in the vibe, and you're high, you're intoxicated, you're stone sober, but you're intoxicated. And it's like every word out of your mouth is either funny or just natural, effortless, it has a grace to it, and the vibe's raising throughout the night. And then just when it makes sense, again, always the consent, you start making out or hook up. And you're not this high value guy because you went from a 4-pack to a 6-pack to self-compensate or to self-qualify. And you weren't this high value guy because you made extra 100K. You're the high value guy because you're celebrating life. And why do you celebrate life? Because you're the dispenser of the genetics for the tribe. And everybody just gives you whatever you want. You just try imagining this. As a thought experiment, try imagining this just for a single night. That's not necessarily who you really are, right? You probably do work really hard. I work really hard. It's not actually who I am. But for that night, it's like leave your cares behind. Just leave it behind. And I think when you do this, the other cool thing is like, you want to talk about not getting cheated on. I really do think that losing status, whether financially or status in general, yeah, that causes cheating for sure. But you want to know another thing that causes cheating? When your girlfriend's trying to lighten up your fucking day and she feels like she's just a goddamn accessory and that you don't even see her and that you, don't appreciate what she's offering. How would you feel if you build a home for your wife, wifey, girlfriend, girl, whatever, and then she just thinks it sucks? How would you feel? What if I'm making a video for you here and you're just like, fuck this video, which some fucking people do. But, that's some bullshit. So she's bringing you something. And the ability to appreciate it and to engage with it, I think it really lights up her soul. And I think that ultimately, the traditional view that we see in the community of a high-value guy is a hyper-advanced form of self-qualification and supplication. I think it probably plays very well with online dating. But I also think that if you knew what you're doing and you went out, you wouldn't probably even have a ton of incentive to do an online date. It's all right there for you. Like I don't even know why you'd even do it. I guess you could, but I'm not even really clear why, because this works amazing. But you could do online date if you want, I guess. There's always a million ways to do something that's to your preference, I guess. I'm a little biased based on my personal experiences. I'm biased, but try it this way. And I think what you'll find is like you're like, wow, cold approach is incredibly easy. I think you'll find that it's incredibly rewarding. I think you'll find that that frame of like, I'm not the worker bee, even the really successful worker bee. I'm the person that provides the genes for the next generation as a thought experiment. It's not really what you're doing, it's a thought experiment. I'm chosen, I'm having fun. And the basic frame, I call it the victory lap frame. It's not striving, it's arriving. Not striving, it's arriving. You're not striving, you've arrived. You're living in the reality. You're not waiting to live. You're connected to the flow, not disconnected from the flow and then trying to find some external source of flow like the high value guy and so on and so forth. I like the idea of a high value guy. You might even argue there's a case to be made that I'm the one that created that term in a weird way. And the mystery, myself, popularized words like demonstration of high value guy. We popularize that stuff. Maybe somebody else is the main one. I don't know. I don't really know who did it. So I'm not opposed to the term, but I'd like to broaden that term. And what I would also tell you is think about things like, I mean, there's so many other frames that are going on here, because when you're in this sort of high value guy frame of subtle supplication, it's when you send the weird over needy text. It's when you do the weird over needy thing when you go out. It's when you try a little too hard in the interaction. It's just all trying too hard. Laugh a little too much, laugh not quite enough, ask too many questions, don't engage enough. It's kind of hard to find that sweet spot, isn't it? But when you find the sweet spot, it's pretty fucking epic. And that happens when you're just naturally in a flow state. You'll do all the correct things from that state of abundance. And even if you're not in abundance right now, I don't want to make you feel like, oh, I'm not in abundance, I can't be successful. Go out tonight and get in that energetic abundance. You can actually go and do that tonight. So remember the Nando story. What are you doing out here in Spain? Working, drinking, living my life. And maybe from a pragmatic standpoint, start setting up situations where you experience real joy. Like you say, oh, you can't get girls? Show me what your house looks like. Oh, you say you have a shitty house? Well, show me what you've done with it. If you bring someone back, is there a way to kick back and have fun and laugh and create vibes? Okay, you say you're not good with girls? Show me who your friends are. Do you have some cool friends that you can build good vibes with? Do you have some cool female friends? Show me your Instagram profile. Oh, you don't have 1 million followers? Well, what cool things are you doing that show what you're into in that thing? And what I would also tell you is don't ever underestimate how much of what men do is supplicating and viewed as self-qualification. Even things like a long conversation and long drawn out logical answers is often self-qualification. And the answer that guys commonly give is, well, a high quality woman would want to see you show your intellect. And while that can be true, I have often found that some of the most high quality women in the world are dating the kind of guys that I'm talking about here. I mean, I could show you a Rolodex of the women that have dated those guys that I see here in LA that barely even form sentences. All they do is they pump their state. They're really the shadow version of the good version of what I'm talking about here. But because women get so frustrated that there's not a good version of this, they wind up with the shadow version of it. And so when you can actually engage this, you're allowing women to really engage with you and not to have to go to some shadow dickhead version of what it is that we're talking about here. And I was out with actually a couple girls tonight, and I was explaining this to a couple guys, and these were friends of mine. And I said to them, I said, what do you think of this theory? And they both said, they're like, oh, that's so crazy. You know, the guys that I had the best sex with were broke. You know, I had the best sex with this one guy in a van. I had the best sex with this other guy on a beach. I had the best sex with this other guy at his mom's house. And I still think about these guys to this day. And they're like, it's so funny. You describe, and they're both actually, by the way, both highly intelligent, what you'd probably call high quality women. And you'd say to yourself, well, they wouldn't fall for that. But they even admitted that in both cases, they actually said and confirmed, not admitted, but confirmed, that was the best sex I had in my life. So try it out. And perhaps in the next video, I could even go more deeply on all the really, really subtle forms of self-qualification. But I'm telling you, a lot of things that you, like so much of your life is self-qualification, because from a standpoint of, if you were just the guy partying, just sharing the genes, think about what your behavior would look like and how drunk on female energy you'd be. Anything shy of that, in some cases, could be perceived as self-qualification. Not to be paranoid or anything, but by way of looking at it as a thought experiment. You don't need to take it too literally, but as a thought experiment, I'd ask you to question that. And this is not a hill I'm looking to die on. I'm not looking to go fight this fight. If some other like guru is curious to see this in action, I'm happy to take them out, show them the ropes, blow their mind. I'm happy to take you out and blow your mind. If you'd actually like to go do a training, shoot me a DM on Instagram if you're serious about it. I'll show you how this works. Not only that, but I'll get you doing it too. And the cool thing about it is not just that it works well as far as getting results, the actual process is incredibly rewarding and fun in and of itself, let alone the crazy results that you get. Okay, so I hope this gives you a little bit of direction. I love you very much. Hope that you've enjoyed this transmission. If you want to see actual infield, what this looks like, again, www.owenslastgameprogram.com. Hop on in there. Go on inside and see what it looks like. If you enjoyed the hot seat back in the day, that's kind of like the new one. Okay? That'll be the last pickup program I ever do. I'm actually going to nuke this video. It's meant to be a little bit hard to find, but it's up just for a little bit. Okay? Hope that you've got an exciting New Year's coming up. I hope that you enjoy the last game program. And like I said, all that I ask is that you field test this weekend. Don't wait. Field test this weekend. This understanding. Post in the comments what you learned from it. Talk about your results. Be respectful, be consensual, and go out there and have a little bit of fun. I'll see you soon. Peace.